People often joke about sleep like it is a competition. You hear someone say, "I only sleep 5 hours and I feel amazing," while you sleep 8 hours and still wake up feeling exhausted, foggy, and irritated. That comparison alone can make you feel like something is wrong with you. But psychology and sleep science tell a very different story. The truth is that your brain does not reward you for sleeping longer. It rewards you for sleeping better. And once you understand how your brain actually experiences sleep, everything you think you know about rest starts to change. Sleep is not a single state. It is a carefully organized neurological process made up of cycles that repeat throughout the night. Your brain does not count hours the way a clock does. Instead, it tracks sleep cycles, each lasting about 90 minutes. Within every cycle, your brain moves through multiple stages, but 2 are especially important. Deep sleep is the phase where your body repairs itself. Muscles recover, tissues rebuild, the immune system strengthens, and growth hormones are released. REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement sleep, is where your brain becomes emotionally intelligent. This is when memories are processed, emotions are regulated, creativity is enhanced, and psychological resilience is rebuilt. When these stages occur in the right balance, people can wake up feeling refreshed even after 5 or 6 hours. That is why some individuals genuinely feel fine on shorter sleep. It is not because they are tougher or more disciplined. It is because their sleep cycles are intact. But when sleep is fragmented by stress, late-night screen exposure, caffeine, anxiety, or inconsistent schedules, the brain struggles to reach deep and REM sleep properly. In those cases, even 8 or 9 hours can feel useless. People wake up heavy, unfocused, emotionally reactive, and mentally drained. Psychologists call this fragmented sleep. The body rests, but the mind never truly recovers. Many people describe this experience in similar ways. They say things like, "I slept all night, but it feels like my brain never shut off." Or, "I wake up tired before the day even starts." Or, "I feel awake but not alert." These are not signs of laziness or weakness. They are signs that the brain did not complete its overnight repair work. Modern life makes this more common than ever, especially because most people unknowingly sabotage the very systems that help sleep work. One of the most powerful systems involved in sleep is your circadian rhythm, your internal biological clock. This clock controls when your brain releases melatonin, the hormone that signals sleepiness. When you go to bed and wake up at different times every day, your brain becomes confused. It does not know when to prepare for rest. Melatonin release becomes delayed, inconsistent, or suppressed entirely. But when you keep a stable routine, sleeping and waking at roughly the same time each day, your brain begins to anticipate rest. Melatonin is released naturally. Sleep arrives faster and waking up becomes easier. Over time, the brain starts to trust your schedule. People who fix their sleep routine often say something interesting. They say, "I didn't change how long I slept, but I feel completely different," or "I fall asleep faster without trying," or "I wake up before my alarm feeling calm." These changes are not psychological tricks. They are biological responses to consistency. The brain loves predictability. When it knows what is coming, it relaxes. Another misunderstood concept is waking up at the wrong time. Sleep research shows that waking in the middle of a sleep cycle causes sleep inertia. This is the groggy, heavy feeling that makes mornings feel unbearable. When you wake at the end of a 90-minute cycle, your brain transitions more smoothly into alertness. That is why timing matters more than total hours. Planning sleep in blocks of 4.5, 6, or 7.5 hours often produces better results than random durations. This is not a productivity hack. It is basic neuroscience working in your favor. As people learn this, many say, "I always thought I needed more sleep, but I really needed better timing." Others realize that their exhaustion was not caused by lack of discipline, but by biological misalignment. Once that guilt disappears, sleep becomes easier. Before sleep even begins, your brain needs permission to rest. Psychologists refer to this process as cognitive offloading. It is the act of signaling safety to your nervous system. Without this signal, your brain remains in problem-solving mode. That is why lying in bed often leads to racing thoughts. The mind believes it is still responsible for managing threats, decisions, and unfinished tasks. One widely discussed method for signaling rest is the 3-2-1 power-down rule. 3 hours before bed, heavy meals should stop. Digestion keeps the body active and raises internal temperature. 2 hours before bed, work and intense problem solving should end. 1 hour before bed, screens should disappear. Blue light blocks melatonin and keeps the brain in an alert state. Instead, calming activities like stretching, journaling, or listening to soft music gently shift brainwaves from beta, the active state, to alpha, the relaxed state where sleep naturally begins. People who adopt this routine often report subtle but powerful changes. They say things like, "My mind stopped fighting sleep," or "I don't feel wired at night anymore," or "My thoughts slow down on their own." What they are experiencing is a nervous system that finally feels safe enough to rest. Morning habits matter just as much as nighttime ones. The first minutes after waking strongly influence alertness for the entire day. Morning sunlight activates serotonin, a neurotransmitter linked to mood, focus, and emotional stability. Stepping outside shortly after waking without checking a phone sends a clear signal to the brain that the day has begun. This resets the circadian rhythm and reduces the need for caffeine. Over time, sleep pressure builds naturally at night, making rest deeper and easier. Many people describe this shift in simple terms. They say, "I feel awake without forcing it," or "My energy feels cleaner," or "I don't crash in the afternoon anymore." These are signs of a brain that is aligned with its environment. Movement and cold exposure also play a role in clearing morning fog. Brief movement or cold water exposure activates the sympathetic nervous system, releasing dopamine and norepinephrine. These chemicals increase alertness and motivation. Even small actions can create noticeable mental clarity within minutes. Beyond habits, there is a deeper psychological layer to sleep. Many cultures associate sleep with laziness. People brag about sacrificing rest for productivity. Psychologists consistently find that individuals who view sleep as a weakness experience higher burnout, emotional instability, anxiety, and impaired decision-making. Sleep is not passive, it is the brain's most active recovery state. It restores focus, regulates mood, and strengthens emotional resilience. People who change their mindset around sleep often say something profound. They say, "Once I stopped fighting sleep, my life improved," or "Rest made me sharper, not slower," or "I realized exhaustion was costing me more than rest ever could." These insights reflect a shift from cultural pressure to biological wisdom. Sleep affects memory, emotional control, creativity, immune strength, and even how you interpret social interactions. A tired brain sees threats where none exist. A rested brain responds with clarity. Over time, chronic sleep deprivation reshapes personality, increasing irritability, impulsivity, and emotional reactivity. Rest does the opposite. It stabilizes identity. When people finally experience deep, consistent sleep, they often describe it as life-changing. They say their patience improves, their focus deepens, their anxiety quiets, their decisions feel cleaner. They stop reacting and start responding. That is not motivation. That is neurological recovery. Sleep is not something you squeeze into life. It is the foundation that makes life manageable. When your brain is rested, your mind becomes adaptable, resilient, and clear. You do not need to sleep more, you need to sleep smarter. And when you do, everything else becomes easier.